We welcome in Dave Walker, head football coach of the Martinsburg Bulldogs, and Marqus Burrell is a senior. We messed up earlier. I said junior, but you're a senior now. But we want to bring Marqus in, and Marqus, you've got a great opportunity coming up for you, and talked a little bit about how this appointment came from West Point and what is involved in that, because, I mean, this is a huge honor.
Well, I got my appointment about 2 weeks ago, and they sent me a letter in the mail. I was really excited. I didn't know when I should be expecting to hear back or what I should be looking for or anything like that. So it was a long, drawn-out process to apply, but once I finally got that letter, it was all worth it. I have to go into a preparatory school, which is actually still West Point Preparatory, and I have to do that for a year, and then I actually get into West Point, the actual military academy. So it's basically what I'm told is like the 5-year plan for West Point, but I can't wait to get started and see where that goes.
Does everybody go to the prep school first for a year?
No, only a few people, but they select only a certain amount of people every year. Mm-hmm. So to make sure that they don't miss or to make sure that I'm prepared, they asked me to go to the prep school first.
Now, are you going to be playing football too?
I hope so.
Yeah. And they have a prep football team, right?
Right. So I just have to go down, and I'm trying to get more information on the prep football team because I talked to the coaches from both leagues up at West Point, and I had been talking to them, but I haven't heard anything from the actual preparatory school.
So how did this process start? I mean, take me back to, you had to get an appointment, right? Mm-hmm. So how did how that start for you? I mean, and how long? Because you said it was a long, drawn-out process.
It was a lot of paperwork. Mm-hmm. My appointment I had to get from Michelle Moore Capito. So I had to do an application to get my appointment, which is probably one of the hardest. It's the hardest part of the whole application itself. And once I had my appointment, which I had to go through an interview with a council of people to get that appointment. Once I had that, I had to go in and actually fill out the actual application into the school. So that was kind of separate, but you have to go through physical tests. You know, they check your scores, all that kind of stuff. The same as you would with a regular school, just a little bit more strenuous, I guess.
Bringing Coach Walker. Coach, talk to me about Marqus on the football field. I mean, you told me he didn't play that much as a junior, but he was one of those kids that just came in as a senior and just improved so much that you had to get him on the field. Ends up being your 4th leading tackler this year. So, I mean, talk to me about Marqus on the football field.
Well, Marqus is one of those young men that just really worked extremely hard between his junior and senior year. And I really noticed him last year running track, how much faster he'd got and just how athletic he was. And he's a tough kid. He's very intelligent, as you can tell by listening to him speak. Probably smarter than most of the coaches. But we had to get him on the field. Mm-hmm. And I think his going into his junior year, he probably wasn't right where he needed to be physically, but he took care of that, in the offseason the year before. But last year, he just got better each week. Starting out the first few games, I think he was a little unsure. But Marqus is one of those kids, if he makes a mistake, he only make it one time. He won't make the same mistake twice. And he's just a great player, and he got better as the year went on. And I think he finished the season, you couldn't ask for a better way to finish the season, getting that sack in the last play of the game, the state championship game to ice the win. So he's just a great player for us. We're going to miss him. I wish he was only a junior. Yeah.
We were on the field when that last sack happened. We were able to put it up on YouTube because Angela's brother Mario was filming it. And, I mean, we heard the hit, and, I mean, the crowd going crazy. I mean, it was a great way to end your high school career with that sack. I mean, just go through what your thoughts on your senior year, coming back, getting the playing time more and more, and then ending the way you ended with that sack and winning a state championship.
Being at the state championship was completely different this year. Last year I was getting to play, but not nearly as much as I was playing this year. And being out on the field, being a part of the team, it was great. So the last play of the game, I'm thinking, we actually did it. We've won, finish this last play, and that's it. And all I could think to do was I look over and my coach is yelling. He's saying, "Blitz, go, end the game," And I went and just got lucky, I guess. I don't know, but it turned out well. So it was like nothing I'd ever felt. I mean, and ending your season that way, especially as a senior.
On that last play, did you know when you got off the ball that you were going to get him? Because you got a good jump. I
wouldn't say that I knew that I was going to get right to him, but I knew that I was going to put in all my effort to make sure that I could.
That was a great jump you had, and end of the game that way. It's a great way to end. Now, are you running track now?
Yes.
So, I mean, how's the track season going for you?
Our track season, Martinsburg isn't usually too great at track, but our girls are excellent, and our guys we're really working hard to make sure that we can be some kind of competition and make sure that we get better each week. And in football, that's what they tell us, get better each week. So we're taking it step by step.
You do sprints, relays?
Sprints. Yeah. I'm
Nobody
not too
likes to
good
run
at
distance.
I'm not too good at distance.
Built for speed.
Well, hey, what made you decide that you wanted to go to West Point? Because this isn't just an opportunity to play football. This is a whole change of lifestyle here coming up for you.
Right. My dad is actually in the Army, and I had one of my teachers who actually really encouraged me and said, I can tell by the way that you lead that this is something that you really should look into. And just from people telling me, this is a really great opportunity, you should look into it, and that kind of stuff, having my dad there probably influenced a little bit, saying, this is something that you really want to do. So there was a lot of factors, but probably my dad was probably one of the biggest ones.
Telling you, of course, I grew up in the business that my dad followed in his footsteps. So following in your dad's footsteps, talk to me about how he helped you through this process and making this decision.
In the beginning, he was like, I don't want you to feel like you have to do this. He wanted to make sure that it was my decision to make. And once I guess showed him that it was something that I really wanted to do, he was on board the whole way, making sure that I was typing up the essays and turning everything in on time and making sure that I had help through the whole process, because him being in the Army, he has connections and he knows what to be expecting. So that was definitely a help.
Have you been to campus yet?
I have not.
Have you planned? Because you have to really plan that out. You can't just show up on campus. Have you set a date to go visit campus yet? Or anything?
I'm trying to get my mom to go up sometime this summer, but she has to take off work and that kind of stuff. So we're just trying to plan something out to see when we can go up.
And of course, your last day, I guess, I don't know what's your last day of school? I know the students are like May 22nd. Right. I figure, is that your last day or you get out early?
Our last instructional day, I think, is the 8th.
Okay. So, I mean, you got some time from the last day of school and when you graduate. What do you need to do before you leave to go to the preparatory school?
Basically, they would just want to make sure, like I said, I haven't talked to too many people about it, but they just want me to go there to be ready to go to the actual academy. So I'm guessing I just need to make sure that I know what I need to work on going into the preparatory school, and make sure that I have set up everything that I need to get together before I go into the actual academy.
What are you most excited about going to West Point?
What am I most excited about?
I mean, I'm reading about the barracks, the mess hall. I think your first year, I don't think you're allowed to really eat very many other places other than the mess. The battalion.
Right. They
football.
Football is probably what I'm most excited about. Football is at the top of my list. I was talking to someone who's actually at the preparatory school now, and he said that being at the prep school is a big help, because at the prep school, you're allowed to be there, you're allowed to drive, you're allowed to have a car. So if you're at the prep school, the people who are in their first year at the academy, they can't have cars. So I'm kind of thinking they're going to need my help. I don't know. Hopefully I can get to them that way and get in there safe. But I'm definitely looking forward to trying to get into football and play football for them.
Hey, Coach, let's talk a little bit on, and got you sitting here. Might as well talk some football. I know it's coming up soon. I know you're not thinking about it now, but the guys have been in the weight room a lot. Talk to me about what your thoughts coming up this upcoming season.
Well, we hope to be able to continue, the things we've been doing, but we lost a lot of great players, obviously, and young men like Marques. You just don't replace those guys. But our JV team was undefeated. Our freshman team was undefeated, and every year we do lose great players, and someone normally steps up. So we just got to be able to identify those young men and make sure we get them in the right place. But I see no reason why we can't be pretty successful. I'm not saying we're going to do what we've done the last 2 years, but I think we we could have a really good football team again, though.
You got a tough schedule, though. I mean, you looked at your toughest schedule. I mean, that's one of the toughest schedules I've seen you play in a while. I mean, you've got.
Well, when you're winning, no one
wants to play you.
The bad teams won't play you.
Shucks, the good teams in West Virginia don't want to play you, man.
No,
they
kidding.
don't. But that's part of it. And I mean, there's no way I can sit here and say that we're going to go undefeated. But I think that our guys, they work hard. If we stay healthy, I think we'll have an opportunity to be in all the games, I would imagine.
I know we talked after you won the first state championship in January after Governor came up and I looked at you and he said, man, I just can't wait till all this stuff's over with so we can start working on next year. Yeah. After winning the second one, was it as hectic or were you able to get to business a little bit quicker because you've been through all that before? Yeah,
I mean, I've kind of put the season away. I mean, people like to talk about it, but I kind of really put it away about a week after it was over with. Because the first one for me personally probably was, kind of unexpected, and we hadn't been, we'd been there, but we hadn't won one. But I think we all expected to win it this year. I mean, I did. I think our players did. They prepared as though, and they did the things they were supposed to do. But this group we got, they're not as probably not as talented, but they work hard, and I see no reason why we can't be pretty successful. But who knows? I mean, it's hard to say.
I think so modest. He's like, well, we're gonna kick everybody's butt, but I don't know, maybe not.
I hope we do. I can't say that.
Well, I think one of the things I noticed, and with Marcus going to West Point and stuff, is the leadership on your team. It's not just from Marcus, but Ashton Felter and those guys that were on that team this past year. And I think those guys, the underclassmen see that, and it's easy for them to step up and fill in those shoes because they've been a part of it.
Yeah,
and so now it's time for the underclassmen to follow them.
And that is a great point that a lot of people don't realize, that you can have talent, but you got to have leadership, and we've had that the last couple of years, and I think that is what got us over the hump. Now you can look at the glass half empty or half full. I think you're looking at it half full. I'm looking at it maybe on the other side. A lot of these guys also have never had to lead because they've always followed these guys. So one of my concerns is to making sure that this next group of seniors are they know how to lead, and in the last year, as a coach, I think my job was to try to keep these guys humble, and I kept them humble and told them how awful they were every week. And, but, I think with this next year, I'm probably going to have to coach leadership a little more than I've had to in the last couple of years. And that's a great point, because that gets overlooked, and it is an issue that if you don't have great leadership, you're not going to be successful.
Yeah.
Marcus, what's the one thing you've taken away from not only your senior year at Martinsburg, but since you've been at Martinsburg, that you're going to take with you moving on to West Point?
Definitely, like Coach said, the leadership and being able to learn from everyone, no matter how small, even on the football field. Everybody has a job, so you can always learn something from somebody. Everybody always has some kind of information to give, so just make sure that you kind of can take it in.
All right, sounds good. Hey, we appreciate you coming in and talking to us. I mean, it's a great honor, and definitely something that we'll be keeping up with you and let us know how you're doing at West Point when you get there, and have fun with it, and best of luck to you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach. Well, I know we'll talk soon coming up. You got what? When does, I guess I could call it spring practice, but summer.
Our mini camp was
June the 10th. June the 10th. All right. Sounds good. And then, of course, hard to believe. Yeah, it really is. 130 some days.
Yeah.
First game. So we'll get there. Stay tuned. More In the Zone with Fred and Angela coming up here on Sports Radio 1340 WEPM.